appear in the playback. So just to let you know, that will be recorded through the duration of the session. At this point, I'm actually going to collapse the video. So the only person you'll see in the playback from this point until I pull it back up large again will be me. But I always like to let people know you're going to be on camera. And what I do with this video is I put it on YouTube afterwards so you can watch the playback. So let's go ahead and get started. You're here today for 6 tips on using LinkedIn for business development. My name is Brenda Meller. My company is Meller Marketing, and I'm an independent marketing consultant. I offer these webinars as a way to help educate you on how to best unlock the power of LinkedIn. So I'm delighted that you've chosen the time to spend with me here today, and I'm looking forward to sharing some great tips. And if you do have a burning question about using LinkedIn for business development, you don't need to wait till the chat at the end. You can enter those in chat right now. Just put the word question in all caps if you could, and then drop your question in there, and then we'll take questions in the end of the broadcast for here today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started right now with introductions. And I'm just pulling out my camera just to look at my clock and see what time it is, okay? And this is the tip. This is a little bit of a bonus tip, if you will. If you are using LinkedIn for business development, you should use every webinar, every virtual conference, every Zoom call that you have as an opportunity to build your network, okay? And what I would recommend is this technique. Give it until it's been about 5 minutes into the webinar, okay? The reason is if you enter chat as soon as you join the session, the only people who can see that are the people that are already in the session. So for the person who just joined, they're going to miss the introductions that all of you left if you left them a little bit earlier. So I like to give it about 5 minutes, okay? So wait for my cue, and then I'll ask you to enter your introductions in chat. But what I would recommend that you do is this. If you're using LinkedIn for business development, you're trying to focus on generating more awareness for what you do at your company, right? So use the chat as an opportunity to introduce yourself. You don't need to say, hi, my name is Brenda Meller, because the Zoom is already going to say your name right above it. And I'm just going to show you guys in chat right now. If I just put just good morning in chat, it's going to say Brenda Meller, good morning. So you don't need to say your name, right? What I would do though is tell people, you know, what's your company? What's the name of your company? And what do you do at your company? And that can be kind of like your one-liner, your elevator pitch, if you will. You know, how do you quickly, succinctly describe what you do? I always like to think about what I can do in terms of how I help my audience, right? So I'm not just a LinkedIn strategist. I help you unlock the power of LinkedIn. That's what I do. I also want you to include in there your LinkedIn URL. And what I'm going to show you right now is a technique that I use, and this is something that you can use right now as well. It's a way of inviting people who are actually in the live webinar to connect with you and make it a little bit easier for them to do so. So what you want to do is you want to navigate to your LinkedIn, okay? And then click on your LinkedIn URL. And the way that you do that is you go up into the address bar at the top. Now I want to show you guys, if I were just to grab the www.linkedin, etc., and I drop that into chat, I want you guys to look in chat right now. You're going to notice it's not clickable, right? If instead, if I grab that entire address with the HTTP at the beginning of it, then I drop that into chat. Now look at this. Now it is blue and it is clickable. Okay. So this is what I want you guys to do with your introductions. I've already typed mine out, and this is a little tip for you guys too. Type it out, have it someplace on your desktop, and then you can just drop it in without having to retype it every webinar. But just really quickly, I want you guys to put a brief introduction of yourself into chat right now. I'm going to start us off, and I'm going to ask you guys to follow me along here as well. So you don't need to say your name because the Zoom already says your name. But what I do want you to do is tell us what's the name of your company and what do you do at your company, right? Think about that one-liner elevator pitch. So I've just dropped into my chat. My company is Meller Marketing. I help people unlock the power of LinkedIn. And I put my HTTPS version of my LinkedIn URL. So it is blue and it is clickable. Use this as an opportunity right now, guys. And in every webinar from this moment forward, you never know when you're going to meet somebody in a webinar who might be a lead or a referral source for you. So take advantage of this. There's other folks on this session here right now that are also looking to ramp up their efforts on LinkedIn and could be leads or referral sources for you. So please drop into chat your introduction. I'm going to wait until at least one of you do this before I move on. Remember, back in school, the teacher would say, I'll wait. I want to wait until I see at least one or two of them come in there. John, you put your LinkedIn URL without the HTTPS in there. So if you could, sir, go back to your profile and grab that entire address bar at the top and then drop it in. That way it's blue and it's clickable, okay? And I see Andy is joining us, and I'm just gonna show you right now, when I click on Andy's HTTPS, that blue clickable link, I can go right to his profile, okay? And I'm gonna keep that up on screen because I'm gonna show you an invitation technique a little bit later on today in the session. So thank you, Andy. Thank you, John, for joining. We have Viral also on with us this morning. Good morning. Nancy Steinberg, another familiar name. So nice to see you on here today. And we have Deborah who's on here. We have a couple folks that are in between successes. And I think it's great to include a mix of people because you never know when we can be leads or referrals for both opportunities for jobs or for business prospecting opportunities as well. So great. So it is 9:06. So this is kind of prime time for putting your introductions in. About 5 minutes after the webinar has started, introduce yourself and then use this as an opportunity. You can click and open those in a new tab. And then after the webinar today, you can invite these people to connect with you. Okay. Also later on, you could download the chat and I'll remind you about those instructions a little bit later, how to do so. All right, so we're here for using 6 tips for using LinkedIn for business development and some reminders as we are getting started here this morning. Yes, I'm perfectly fine if you want to take photos of anything, if you want to take screen captures, anything along that line. I will send you a playback link and I will send you a page that you can download these slides off of. But you know what? No time like the present. You got your camera, your phone in front of you, right? Just pull that out, take a picture, just turn your camera sideways so you can get a nice horizontal picture. And yes, perfectly fine if you want to post these on social media. This is what I do for a living, and I am perfectly fine if you want to share anything. All that I ask is that you please tag me, and you'll see my name and my handle in the bottom of every slide. All right, so we got 30 minutes together. We're going to move pretty quickly, so let's get started. We're going to talk about optimizing your profile, having a business page, being strategic about your invitations to connect, engaging and posting daily, and generally speaking, being active on LinkedIn. So let's get started with the very first tip, which is optimize your profile. Biggest mistake I see people making when using LinkedIn for business development, and this makes me cringe so hard, when I look at your profile and your profile looks like you're trying to find a job. Because what happens? Well, you think it's like a resume, right? Wrong. And you may be mistaken in grabbing everything from your resume, copying and pasting it on your LinkedIn, starting with the about statement. Oh, well, that's my professional summary. No, it's not. The goal of a resume is to find a job. The goal of your profile, if you're using it for business development, is to set you up for the best chances for success of connecting with your ideal target audience. So you want to optimize your profile. And I like to think of this as like sculpting your online brand. And I have a picture up on screen. This is this statue of the little girl in the financial district, and she's got, you know, her hands on her hips and she's facing the bowl, right? And I think about when the artist originally got that material, it really wasn't anything. It was shapeless. It was probably like a rectangular cylinder. And it made shape because of what the artist carved out and what they kept in, right? That's what created that work of art. The same thing applies on your LinkedIn profile. I want you to be a sculptor. I want you to think about taking out things that are not relevant and keeping in the things that are relevant for your ideal target audience. So think right now, who is your ideal target audience? That's the person that you're writing your profile for, okay? And I want to encourage you to fill out all the areas they give you. I'm an opportunistic marketer. I'm going to share those tips with you here today, a few of them. And I like to use all the fields they give me. I like to be aware of, and if not, use all the character limits they give me as well, because that helps me to come up in more searches. And I want to encourage you to consider the same technique as well. I also want you to think about writing your profile for a person, because we want human beings to read our profile and to engage with it, right? I also want you to think about writing your profile for a computer, thinking about SEO, search engine optimization, using the right keywords and phrases in the right places so that we're coming up in more searches. And when people come to our profile, they stay on there longer, okay? So optimizing your profile is really key. And in the interest of time, I'm not gonna be able to give you my top to bottom checklist, but I wanna give you a few reminders. First, you've got a header graphic that is at the top of your profile. I'm gonna actually move my arrow up a little bit because it's pointing at the headshot photo and that's bothering me. I wanna have this pointing at your header graphic in the background, this rectangular area that's in the background. That is basically a space for advertising or marketing your business, you guys, right? Look at mine right now. What am I promoting? I'm promoting my book. Everywhere I go, I'm promoting my book. That's top for me. So I will update that monthly. I might put a new promotion. I might put different keywords and phrases, different calls to action, but I would encourage you guys, update that header monthly. At least bare minimum, you have to have something in there. Don't have the default, which is that grayish, greenish, like landscape flipped on its side. You want to get something in there with some company branding, but think about using that space to promote your products, your services, you, right? Think about using that space and updating that monthly. Moving down, I want you to check your contact info. If you are using LinkedIn for business development, this is a key area. When people click on your contact info, you should have 3 websites in there. You should have your work email in there, right? You should have everything in there should be accurate. And if you check the links, do the links work? Okay, so double check that if you haven't done that. At least once a year, you should be checking your contact info. And then I want to move down. There's this newer section on LinkedIn, guys. This is so cool. It's been up for about a year. It's called Featured. Okay. And this is kind of like an end cap at the grocery store. It's a way for you to feature items about yourself and for your business. And I encourage you, even swap these out, maybe weekly or monthly. I'll feature my upcoming webinars, how to book me for LinkedIn strategy coaching. I might feature posts or articles that I've written or podcasts that I appear in. Use this section to sell yourself to your ideal target audience. It's a brilliant technique, okay? Check my profile for inspiration. No, it is not stalking. I am encouraging you to visit my profile. So come on over, check it out. I have all kinds of great LinkedIn strategy tips throughout my profile. So check that out. And do keep in mind, I do offer LinkedIn coaching and team training as a service. So keep that in mind if I can help you out further with this. All right, we're going to move along to my second tip, which is to have a business page. Okay. This is another thing. Oh, when I see like these profiles, you guys, it just makes me cringe. Like I had a profile, this person reached out to me, digital ad specialist, right? This person did not have a company page. Okay. And this is kind of the older navigation. We're now moving over to the newer navigation, and the gray avatar is a little bit different looking, but it's basically a gray avatar where their building should be, right? And what does that mean? When a profile visitor sees that gray avatar on their profile, what does that mean? In a split second, like that, they're making a judgment call about you. Did you know that? Because they are, right? And they are either thinking, well, they're not that well established, right? Because they don't have a company page yet, or not a legitimate business, it doesn't really exist, or you're working out of your basement. Now, any or all of those things may be true. You're just getting started, but let's not have it appear that way. Set up a company page because, guys, gray is not okay. Gray is sending this question mark to your ideal target audience, and it could be having them click off of your profile. We want to keep them on your profile and create legitimacy for you and for your business. It's free to set up a company page. I've got a blog on how to do so, and I'll send you in an email that link if you want to check out that blog on how to set up that company page. And yes, I can help you. If you need some help with company page strategy, feel free to reach out and I can give you some details about my offerings there. In comparison, look at my friend Aaron Stone, you guys. He works for a company called RevLocal rather. Do I have any question about whether this is legitimate? No, because why? I see his logo or his avatar for his company next to there. If I were to go down to his experience section and click on that, it would take me to his company page where I can learn more about his company, right? So have a business page. It creates legitimacy and it just cements in their mind that yes, this is a valid and legitimate business. And if you're using LinkedIn for business development, you need to have this business page set up. All right, so that's my second tip for you, to have a business page. My third tip involves invitation strategy. And guys, I want to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart with you on this because I see so many people making mistakes in their invitation. The first is this invitation mistake, and that is using some type of an automated tool to send out mass invitations to grow your network quickly. Anybody who says we have an automated tool that can help you to grow your LinkedIn network, do know that these automated tools are actually prohibited by LinkedIn. Eventually, you will get caught by LinkedIn, and guess what? They're going to throw you in LinkedIn jail. I'm not kidding, or I'm kidding a little bit, but they will lock up your account and they'll ask you to please stop using this service, and they're going to ban you for 2 to 3 days on doing anything. You might not be able to get into your LinkedIn at all until that 2 to 3 day period expires. So you're actually in jail, right? And then if you use it again and you get caught again, you're not going to be able to ever send out invitations ever again. Think about that for a second, okay? And the other side of that is think about the recipients. When you get an invitation like this, and the headline of the person is a first trigger for me, right? I know they're going to be spammy and salesy, but she or he says, Brenda, yes, I have a product that would benefit you greatly. I look forward to connecting. Here's what I started doing, guys. I don't even bother with a justifiable response. I just reply back with the word test, T-E-S-T. And what this does is it screens out the intentional invitations from the unintentional. The intentional invitations, those people that wanted to connect with me, they're a real live human being. They're going to reply back and say, what did you mean by test? Or test? Did I pass? What happened? You know? And then I get a conversation started. I let them know what I'm doing with this screening technique. The other folks, the automated folks, just like this one, will reply back with another automated invitation. Hey, Brenda, thank you for connecting. Let me ask you a question. How many people do you find that don't read your profile even though you ask them to read it? Do you guys see the irony here? Like, they didn't even read my test message, right? So the consideration here is do not use automated invitations because yes, we can tell they're automated, right? We can smell these from a mile away. And you could also get banned by LinkedIn. So be careful about that. The flip side of that is sending out invitations with no context at all. And I encourage you to be strategic about your invitations. And I want you to think about my good friend, Inigo Montoya. Name that movie. If you guys know that movie, go into chat right now. Tell me if you know what movie that is. The line in the movie goes something like this. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die, right? And he has all of the great elements of a great personalized LinkedIn invitation. I see chat lighting up. So let's see who guessed it. Deborah Shelby, The Princess Bride, correct. And I'm sure a few more of you may have seen that movie. If not, I highly recommend it. It's a good cult classic, right? So here's the formula that we can learn from our good friend Inigo Montoya. You want to include a polite greeting. You want to offer your name. You want to include a relevant personal link, and you want to manage expectations. Now, please don't tell your new messaging person prepare to die, because you'll probably get banned off of LinkedIn and kicked off, right? Don't do that, but follow my personalized formula. Here it is, super simple. Hi, first name, have you met or not? Okay, if you have met, remind them where. So in today's session, what I may do, I'm going to do this right now, is I'm going to say, if we have met, I'm going to say, it was great to meet you on today's webinar. Then let's connect on LinkedIn, and then my closing, Brenda Meller. That is it. I am not selling, I am not pitching, and I'm making it all about you and where we met. Now, if we haven't met, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at your profile. I'm going to find 1 or 2 items that I can comment on or that we have in common, and then I'll reference those items. Then let's connect on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller. That is it. The goal of the invitation, you guys, is to get the invitation accepted. It's not to make a sales pitch at this point. So let me just show you as an example. Andy, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to use your profile as an example. I'm visiting Andy's profile. I'm on his profile. This is where you want to be when you send an invitation, on their profile. I know I'm in the right place because I can see that header graphic behind him. Okay. And then I'm going to click on the connect button. Then you have an option to either add a note or send now. I'm going to add a note. Always, always, always. You always want to add a note, just like Inigo Montoya, right? You want to give that reference point. So I am going to say, hi, Andy. Great to see you on today's LinkedIn webinar. Let's connect on LinkedIn, Brenda Meller. LinkedIn gives you 300 characters, guys, okay? I very rarely go over 150, okay? This is short and sweet. The only goal for me is to get Andy to accept that invitation. I have a higher likelihood of Andy accepting it if I make the invitation all about him. Not about me. Not about me at this point. It's all about Andy, because I'm trying to build trust and I'm trying to build that connection. I'm trying to get him to accept that, if you will. So if you're using LinkedIn for prospecting, stop pitching in your invitations, right? Start shifting to this approach, making it all about them. And then I'm going to send that off. Okay. And that's it. That's a simple personalized approach. If Andy had not been on the webinar, here's what I would do. I'm going to scroll through his profile pretty quickly. I'm already seeing a few things we have in common. We're both coaches, right? And we have, let's see, some common connections, 11 common connections. I might quickly look at that list and see someone we have in mind. Oh, and prior, I might name drop her in the invitation. Okay, so this does not take a lot of time. Yes, it is worth the effort. I guarantee you're going to get more of your invitations accepted, and you'll get more dialogue started as a result as well. So this is my third tip, to be strategic about invitations. Remember our good friend Inigo Montoya and that formula, and use that in every invitation that you send. All right, we're going to move along here. Our fourth tip for you guys here today is to engage every single day on LinkedIn. And I like to start by my first visit to LinkedIn in the morning. I spend 15 minutes in the homepage feed. That's all I do. I spend 15 minutes. I scroll through. I see what people are talking about. I read what others are saying about themselves, about their companies. And it's kind of like reading the newspaper, right? You get your morning news in there. And while I'm there, If I see someone like Davin posting, I might give it a like or a reaction, kind of let him know I saw his post coming up there, right? And occasionally, maybe 2 to 3 times, I am going to leave a comment of 5 or more words. Okay. Now, that 5 or more words is key to the algorithm. If you just say, great post, I love that quote, I love that quote, that's only 4 words, right? Thanks for sharing, that's 3 words. Those aren't really triggering the algorithm to show that post to more people. But when you do 5 or more words, and even like maybe a sentence or 2, that post is going to get more engagement. That post is going to get more views. And the other people reading the post are going to see your long comment in there. Okay. Encourage you guys, build this social media karma. And what is karma? You pay it forward and it comes back to you, right? Same thing on LinkedIn. When you pay it forward and you spend 15 minutes in the homepage feed, people like Davin are going to notice that you're paying attention to his posts, that you're commenting, that you're liking them, and he's going to repay the favor to you. He's going to do the same when he sees your post coming up in the homepage feed. Okay. And people are going to see, just like Tina Marie Woolfield, we can see that she commented. Some people are going to click on her name to go to her profile where they can learn more about her, right? So this is actually a great technique. In addition to building social media karma, it's going to build visibility for you. Did you know that? So this is a great technique, spending just 15 minutes a day in the homepage feed. Do this every single day. Okay. My 5th tip for you guys to keep us moving along is to post daily. So, you know, the airline analogy, they say like put your own mask on before helping others. LinkedIn, it's different. You want to help others first, engaging with their posts, and then put your own mask on, right? Then you want to post on LinkedIn. And I just want to share with you guys this technique. I had a client I was recently working with, and I don't think he had ever posted. And I walked him through the process of posting on LinkedIn. He was sharing about an upcoming an award, or rather a past award that his company had just been designated for. They'd been named on the Clean 200 list, and they're doing some efforts targeting the green industry right now. He posted, I kid you not, you guys, 3 hours later, he messaged me on LinkedIn with this. Thanks, Brenda. A few hours after we sent the post, I got a call from one of my contacts to catch up on what we are doing in clean energy. I was like, this is brilliant. This is why you post on LinkedIn. You post to increase visibility for yourself on the platform. And especially, I mean, this wasn't a salesy message. This was more kind of a promotional, a telling type of a message, right? He was sharing the news about his company and this achievement. And the person didn't reply back to the post. They just reached out to him, right? When you post daily, you're going to keep yourself top of mind for your network. And it's an easy thing for us to blend into the background. But when you're posting content that is engaging, you have a higher likelihood that those people are going to remember you. And maybe you could be like Chris, you can get an outreach from someone in your network to you. It's now so much easier than like having somebody try to respond to a cold call outreach that you're doing, right? So brilliant technique. I asked Chris for permission on sharing, and I'll include the link if you guys want to check out that post. It'll be in the email I send you later on. All right, so that's my 5th technique, is to post daily. And I want to round this off with my 6th technique, and this is to be active on LinkedIn. And on the left side of your screen, you see this pie graph. I love pies, and anytime I can find funny images or illustrations to add in, I always do. And I love this one. I think I found this on Pinterest. And I think about, I was actually making toast the day I found this graphic. What do we do when we're waiting our toast to pop up, right? We get out the butter and the utensils, we clean up the kitchen, we organize the counter, and then we stare at the toaster, right? And I think about all these times that you might have little pockets of time available other than staring at the toaster. You know, you could put these times together. You could find 15 minutes a day to do these things. You could visit the LinkedIn homepage, spend 15 minutes a day in the homepage. You could spend a little bit of time each day posting on LinkedIn. Maybe while you're waiting for that toast to pop up, you can post something real quick on LinkedIn, right? You can screen invitations. You know, if you get invitations from people coming in, you can do the test thing like I showed you guys, or you can reply and say, thanks, Bill, for the invite. Have we met? Right? So you can do different techniques there, but screen your invitations in. You can reply to messages that people send you. And then maybe you can search for targeted leads. Now, you might only be doing the last item on the list, but I want to encourage you to do a combination of all of these other activities to be active on LinkedIn, not just the last one. LinkedIn and your success is going to be the result of all of these efforts working together. It's having an optimized profile. It's being strategic about your invitations and those messages that come into you. And it's also building out that social media karma and being active in the LinkedIn homepage feed by posting yourself. All of these efforts combined are going to help you to be more effective on using LinkedIn for business development. So you're not just staring at the toaster, right? You're making use of that time. I hope you guys like that graphic. I thought it was kind of a fun and clever way of thinking about the downtime. We all have it, right? You're sitting in the car waiting for an appointment, pull out your LinkedIn app on your phone and use that for a couple minutes of LinkedIn activity. All right, guys, I'm going to summarize here today. We talked about 6 tips in these 30 minutes today. We talked about optimizing your profile, having a business page, being strategic about invitations, engaging and posting daily, and being active on the platform. Before we move into Q&A, I just want to give you guys a final few reminders here. If you do need more LinkedIn help than I offered you in the 30-minute session here today, I would love to have the opportunity to help you. I do offer individual LinkedIn coaching sessions via Zoom. I offer LinkedIn profile optimization services, company page strategy services and coaching, virtual team training. I have an online course, and I've got a book that I recently published. It's called Social Media Pie. So if you go to my website, mellermarketing.com, you can find any of the links for those services, and I'll also send that to you in an email as a follow-up. All right, before you guys leave and before we go into our chat, I want to ask you to do one thing. Could you do one thing for me? I want you to go in chat right now and share with me one thing that you learned here today that you will implement in your LinkedIn activities. Just one thing, if you could. Just go into chat right now, type in that one thing that you learned. I'm going to give you guys just a minute to start typing those in. While you're doing so, do not leave the session yet, guys, because I am going to be doing a prize giveaway. I'm actually going to be drawing a winner for a copy of my book, Social Media Pie. I'm going to send you an autographed copy. So if you stay on the session, must be present to win, I will draw a winner in just a minute here. And the site that I'm using for this, guys, is actually a website called wheelofnames.com. If you haven't heard of this yet, it's brilliant. It's this free thing. It looks like a pie, right? I love it because it's kind of like set up that way. And I'm just going to go into my participant view here, and I'm going to type in a couple of additional names for people I see that are still in the session. And let's see, we have Deborah Shelby. And if you guys don't want a chance at the book, just say, I don't need the book, or you can message me in chat. I'm not going to be offended or anything, but you could always send this to someone in your network as well. I would selfishly keep it if I were you guys, but I'm just going to put your names in here real quick, and then I'm going to spin the wheel and we're going to do the prize drawing. Okay. And I think a few of you may actually have purchased the book already. So if I call your name, if you want to say I can draw someone else, that would be absolutely fine. Or you can give me the name of a friend or family member and I can send it to them. They can be a little bonus there. All right, I think we've got everybody in here. So let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I think I'm the 7th. I'm the 8th person that's in here. All right, just want to double check chat, make sure it's okay with you guys. Make sure there's not anybody on here. Don't stare at the toaster. I love that. All right, guys, we're going to spin the prize wheel. You ready for this? So this is called wheelofnames.com, and this is for a free autographed copy of my book. After the session, I'll need to get your mailing address if you've won. I'm going to spin the wheel right now. Let's see, round and round and round she goes. Let's see who's the winner for today. All right, Viral or Viral Patel. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, but congratulations. You have won a free copy of my book. I will ask after the webinar, I'll email you and ask for your mailing address so I can get that copy of the book in the mail to you. But congratulations. I'm a Post-it note person, so I'm actually going to write your name on a Post-it note right now so I don't forget to email you later. And then I'm going to put this over on my side desk and I will get that copy out to you shortly. All right, guys, so let's see if you do have any questions. You can enter those questions in chat right now, and I'll also see what your key takeaways that you learned here today. All right, thank you, Deborah, for joining. It was a pleasure seeing you on the session here today. Let's see, I'm going to start from the top of chat and go down to the bottom. I appreciate you guys staying on for the end. We'll just be maybe 5 or maybe 10 minutes top to go through Q&A. If you do need to leave, this will still be recorded and I'll send you the playback. So don't worry about that at all. Wendy, are you still on the session, my friend? If you are, I just want to pull your profile up on screen and just point something out to you. Yes, Wendy, you're still on. So your LinkedIn URL, you've got this alphanumeric code at the end of it, Wendy. I would highly recommend you go into your profile and you clean that up. And the way that you would do that, Wendy, is when you go into your profile, in the upper right-hand corner where it says edit public profile and URL, click on that. And then there's a little link that says edit your custom URL, and you'll just want to click on the pencil icon. What I would recommend, Wendy, is just first name, last name, no dashes, no spaces, then click on save. If somebody else is already using it, you might need to put a middle initial or your state or something at the end of it, or a keyword. but hopefully that helps you out and you'll be able to join that or to update. I'm just seeing somebody had just joined the session. I'll admit Sam's, you're joining us just for the last few minutes here. So I just want to see if there's any additional questions that have come in here. And then I'll also read any of those tips that have come out in your chat that you guys shared at the end. Let's see. Yeah, still sleepy from springing ahead on Sunday. I'm still trying to make today amazing by drinking a lot of coffee, right? I finally got some good sleep last night, but catching up a little bit on here. So it's so great to be getting into the normal things after the daylight savings change. All right, so Andy learned to reply 5 words to every post, so encourage you to do so. Kristen said the same thing, 5 words in comments, and then to do that 2 to 3 times a day. Nancy said, post every day, I will try. There is no try, Nancy. There is only do, right? Was that Yoda, I think, who said that? Somebody. Viral said, featured session in the profile page. John said, thinking about a business page. Don't have one yet. So John, make sure you go and check my email because I'll have a link in there about how to set up a business page on LinkedIn. Highly, highly recommend. You do not want to have that gray avatar because if you're using LinkedIn for business development, that creates a question mark. And we don't want people wondering if our business is legitimate. So I highly recommend getting that page set up. Deborah said, learned, do not stare at the tea kettle, the toaster rather, the tea kettle. I could say keeping on with my LinkedIn strategy. So happy to see that. Wendy said posting on daily, using 5 or more words when commenting on other people's posts, and a lot of celebration for the book giveaway there. I think that's it. Viral says, I don't have a question, but I have written a short article covering all of the topics and more, and I would love suggestions and feedback. Is it okay to share the link here? Are you talking about, you are sharing an article based on what you learned in the webinar here today? If you would like, yeah, go ahead and you can share that link in chat, or if I will just go on LinkedIn today, when you share it, just make sure that you tag me in the post, give me a shout out in the blog if you could. And yeah, we'd be happy to share some feedback with you. And I'd be happy to add a comment to help to jumpstart the engagement for you. I appreciate you sharing. I think it's a wonderful way of sharing thought leadership and building up that social media karma. So that's really just a great tip. Nancy says she wishes everyone would personalize their LinkedIn invitation. I know, Nancy, I got my job cut out for me, right? But we're trying. And I see Viral's link is in here. So let's see if I can pull this up. Oh, you did a, looks like this is a blog on an external website. So interesting. Very good. Yeah, feel free if you wouldn't mind on including, if there's any tips that you learned from my webinar, I would love it if you could give me a shout out in there, if you'd be okay doing so. I would love that. But yeah, great. And I would share that on LinkedIn. Absolutely. Good. Okay. Oh, used a note-taking tool. It looks like you used. Okay, awesome. Well, I just want to thank you guys so much for joining here today. I'm just going to stop the share right now. I'm also going to stop the recording, and let's see if here.